Wow. Sheesh. This is 100 watt hours. On this channel, we're usually talking about big, scary cinema cameras, but there's a lot of us, maybe most of us, that are using smaller, more compact mirrorless cameras. And there's definitely some advantages to using a full-size cinema camera, but there's advantages to small ones too. Chiefly, you get to use all of the new cool, innovative support gear that's constantly coming out. This is an area where you have to be really careful because not all gadgets are created equal, but today I found something that's really cool. I became a fan of iFootage when I got their Bowen Spotlight attachment, which I still use all the time. They seem to put out high quality gear at fair prices, and today we're going to see if that trend continues with their new Shark Slider Nano 2. Most of the cameras I'm regularly using are a little bit too big for this, although the payload is still really impressive. Horizontally, you can get 15.4 pounds, and then vertically you can get 7.7. So we actually could fit an Ursa on here as long as you kept the rig pretty tight. But today I think we're going to throw the FX30 on it since that's probably a more common setup for this. First, let's get some basics out of the way. This thing is really well built and fully made of metal, and like I said, it can handle 15.4 pounds horizontally and 7.7 pounds vertically. It comes in two sizes, a 9.1 inch and a 17 inch length. In case you're wondering, this is a 17 inch version. We got a little screen on one side that allows for touchscreen operation, which is very cool. You can connect the slider to an app to operate it that way, which is doubly cool. But the coolest of all the cools is iFootage co-developed this thing with DJI, so you can connect most DJI RS gimbals and use them natively. I went ahead and rented one since I don't usually run gimbals, and there it is in all of its glory. This one is the DJI RS2. And then it connects on here in a very satisfying way. And you can lock it in place, unlock all the joints. There we are. And then I have an FX30 right here that we're gonna throw on it. Look at that, balanced pretty well. So it actually communicates through one single cord. And I hate extra cords, but this one is actually really cool. On the front right here, you just magnetically attach it. And then this other side connects to the side of the gimbal, and there's even some little M4 screws to keep it from getting loose. And now the slider and the gimbal are communicating perfectly, which is really cool. I was thinking that there would be a lot more cords that are running all over the place and I'd have to connect an app and do all this crazy stuff, but if you only want to use the slider and the gimbal like this, you just connect one cord and you can do everything you need on the screen of the gimbal and on the screen of the slider. You don't need to open up an app to get this thing to work. I love that. Okay, so when you actually want to use this thing, all you got to do is plug in some power. I'm using their battery right here, and it's going through USB-C. Hold the power button for a couple seconds until it beeps like that. And then the sled and the head will move around a little bit. I guess it's calibrating or doing something. And then your menu will pop up. Now, initially, when I opened up this menu, I was a little nervous because these things tend to have hard to understand, hard to navigate menus because there's just too many features. But here's the deal with this. You want to do video, you go to the video mode. There's also time-lapse, stop-motion, macro mode, panorama mode. Chances are I'd be in video mode 99% of the time. And then I saw settings, and I got super nervous because this is probably a menu with 10 pages and all different kinds of things you can change, but here's all the settings are. There's screensaver and sound, so you can choose how long it takes before the screen starts to dim, and then you can turn the sound cues off and on. There's language, and there's about, where you can scan for the user menu. And that's it. Now, when I'm using this thing, what I'm gonna do is go to video almost always. There is an app you can use that's pretty good, but I'm not gonna be using the app today because chances are if I'm using this out in the field, I'm not gonna wanna connect to my phone. I wanna do everything on here. Now, if you look up here, there's this little lock. That means that the motor is locked. Nothing on here will move. So you gotta go into the app to move around everything, or you can press the power button and the function button at the same time. It'll beep to let you know that we are now in manual mode and this is now unlocked. So now you can move around stuff manually. And then all you do is put the gimbal and the sled where you want it. You press A on your first point, move it to your next point, press B, or any of these others. We can go all the way up to H. In between each, there's a little button right here that will allow you to change how long it takes to get to that cue. And you can go back, and then if you press standby, it'll go to the very first set point, which is A. And then once it's there, you can press start and it'll just do its thing. It's so simple. And unfortunately, I don't have the Pro focus system or autofocus lenses or anything like that. So everything we're gonna do today is with manual focus, but this is how simple and easy it is to set up something. I'm gonna go to video. I'm gonna put it in manual mode. I'm gonna pick a spot that I like. Let's go ahead and record you guys. Make that position A. Move over here. Readjust the gimbal. Make that position B. Then I'll hit standby to go to the beginning of the sequence. And then you can choose, again, how much time you want it to take in between each point. I'm gonna keep it at 15 seconds and press start. And that's it. We set up our sequence already. That's so cool. It's kind of hard to tell on the back of this screen because the screen isn't that big, but it looks like it's doing a really good job of doing it smoothly. And what's absolutely ridiculous is that you can make this, you can make the speed just insanely fast. Here's 1 second. Yeah, you would need something sturdier than this table to make that smooth. And then if you wanted to set a third point, you just do the same exact thing. Move it to another point, shoot it into the light here, and make that C. And then we'll go back to our start point, and there we are. Gonna hit start. You can loop this also, by the way. When you're in the middle of this, you can hit a little loop toggle and it'll just do everything over and over again. So it's on its way to point B. Eases to a stop really nicely. And now it's going off to point C. Man, that's so cool. Into the light we go. I'm gonna take this upstairs and go and play with it for a little bit. The SharkSlider Nano 2 is really intuitive to operate, and I really like that. There's nothing worse than a product that promises to do a lot, but the user experience ends up being terrible, and I think iFootage did a really, really good job here. The Shark Nano's strength lies in its ability to get the shot that you want quickly and efficiently. There's not a whole bunch of gear you have to tear out and take out of cases and plug in and set up for one shot and then tear everything down and move away. This thing is quick. I think that the integration with DJI's gimbals isn't gimmicky, it's completely logical and they work really well together. I just think this is an excellent entry into the market. And as far as quick and efficient sliders go, I think this is the one to beat. Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.